The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Hey, what's up, one?
Hi, I am Candy Pang.
Watagwan.
Watagwan.
Datagwan pa.
Watagwan. Watagwan.
Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
Datagwan pa. Watagwan.
Thanks for joining us for CVM News at Noon. It's Friday, May 8, 2026. I'm Amoy Harriet. Up first this afternoon, a threatening video sent to the Stella Maris Prep School in Kingston has sparked panic among parents and staff. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA, has reportedly launched an investigation into the incident. The school says it cannot verify the authenticity of the video and it may be a scam, adding that the school will remain open as investigations continue. Members of the Senate this morning paid tribute to former Senator and Attorney-at-Law Leslie Campbell, remembering him as a dedicated public servant, principled leader, and respected colleague. Government Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith and Deputy President of the Senate, Charles Sinclair, both described Campbell as a steady and personable figure who served Jamaica with distinction in both houses of Parliament and in several government roles.
He was an attorney-at-law, businessman, former member in that other place, and particularly, of course, as a former member of the Senate and a former Minister of State. Leslie was a steady, reliable, knowledgeable, and principled leader who believed in service and his country.
He believed in service beyond self. He gave generously of his time, nurturing young counsel, guiding them with patience, wisdom, and a genuine desire to see them succeed. His mentorship leaves a lasting imprint on the legal fraternity.
In the meantime, the Senate is expected to debate and pass the contentious NARA bill, which was passed in the lower house last week after a marathon sitting which ended close to 2 o'clock Wednesday morning. The opposition has raised several concerns with the NARA bill. To other news now, well-known gospel singer Kokadu has died. The family of the gospel singer, whose given name is David McDermott, announced his death on Friday. A post shared on his social media page stated, quote, "It is with a heavy heart that we, the family of David McDermott, have to tell the public that he passed away this morning. At this time, we ask for grace and respect in our time of grief." End quote. Kokadu is most famous for his song "See People Business" and "Leave It Alone." The St. Elizabeth Police are calling for greater community partnership as the division records an increase in murders since the start of the year. Commanding officer for the St. Elizabeth Police Division, Superintendent Coleridge Minto, says despite ending 2025 with the lowest murder rate in more than 25 years, investigators are now being urged to double their efforts to keep communities safe.
Whilst the data shows significant downward trend at the end of 2025, and in fact each year over the last 3 years it goes lower. We are now almost mid-year and the division has already recorded 10 murders. It's 10 too many lives that have been lost.
A dispute arose in court on Thursday during the testimony of a prosecution witness after the defense accused the Crown of attempting to create a connection to establish the identity of a deceased man through reference to a document not in evidence. This in the ongoing trial of alleged Clansman gang leader Tesha Miller and 24 co-accused. Carla Ramdeen was in court.
The witness, a detective sergeant, testified in relation to his role in the August 2017 murder and wounding with intent of another man on Ripon Road in Kingston. The witness told the court that in August 2017, he responded to a report from the Police Emergency Control Center and went to Ripon Road, where he observed spent casings, what appeared to be blood along the roadway, and what appeared to be blood inside a motor car. He also testified that he visited the Kingston Public Hospital, where he spoke to a man and observed what appeared to be wounds to his body. The witness told the court that he later went to the morgue, where he saw a man lying on a morgue table. He then mentioned receiving a driver's license from the first responder on the scene. Defense attorney Paul Gentles immediately objected, arguing that pre-shadowing the witness's evidence, there may be an effort to refer to the contents of a document not in evidence. Prosecutors countered, saying they were asking about the document not for the truth, but to understand what the witness observed and did. The witness began testifying about the driver's license, but an objection was raised. Attorney Paul Gentles insisted it speaks to the contents of a document not in evidence, adding that it is the first time he's hearing about a driver's license. The prosecution responded that the driver's license had been disclosed in a statement and maintained that the connection would be established through other witnesses and scientific evidence. Mr. Gentles told the court he believes there's an attempt to create a connection between the deceased on the indictment through the back door, particularly after previous witnesses had failed to establish that link. Later, the witness testified that after observing the driver's license, he realized it depicted the same man he had seen on the morgue table. The evidence goes towards count 5 and 6 of the indictment, which charges the accused Tesha Miller, Rolando Jermaine Hall, and Michael Wildman with facilitating the murder of Kevin Green and the wounding with intent of Andre Anderson. Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
Road improvement works in Chigwell, Hanover are bringing relief to motorists and residents this afternoon. Member of Parliament Andrea Perkis says the upgrades carried out under the Spark program are restoring the roadway for safer and more reliable use. Now, while the repairs continue, drivers are being urged to proceed with caution. Crystal Williams has more.
Shared prosperity through accelerated improvement to our road network, Spark program has taken to the streets of Chigwell, Forest, Success, Old Pen and surrounding communities in eastern Hanover. Motorists in the vicinity witness that the road is impassable once covered with a considerable amount of rainfall.
Once the road is covered, you know nothing can pass. But what they normally do is that when the water recedes off of the road, nobody drive on it until the road dry. So what they must do now, the water not gonna mash up the road. We can guarantee you that. As long as the water dry over it, and the road allow with like a week or two with sun on it, and then we could, because what they normally do is drop tree across it and block it, so nobody can drive on it immediately after the water recede. This road now, the flood now affect the road.
Member of Parliament for Hanover Eastern, Andrea Perkis, notes repair of the roads were needed for several years. She says she is working on controlling the amount of dust circulating because of the road construction.
Just one tiny issue, the dust, we have to control the dust, but we have made some arrangements to get some water to come in to damp the road a bit if we don't have rainfall to do that. We really want to see more road programs so we can take care of the deplorable roads that we have in eastern Hanover.
Motorists also say they are accustomed to safety hazards and dangerous use of the thoroughfare due to the poor roads. As caution is continuously being advised, they say the height of the new road should last a while and hopefully make commute more efficient.
At this me wait for 1 morning and evening, and can you imagine when you went bad? Now me see a man they overtake one here already and not done yet. So I'm grateful with this. Now if it's only a pity that as it is, he couldn't hire and stay and get back worse. I'm glad for the height where they now carry. So what we see them do now is like after them do this, no water and I go set up on the road, which is good.
Crystal Williams reporting for CVM News.
It's time for a break, but stay with us more when we come back.
If you have financial needs, Chris and Charles will fix them for you. Power in great moments since 1992. Oh, we have it all. Power in great moments. Relax, you got Chris and Charles. Oh, we have it all. When you think alone, think Chris and Charles.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Welcome back to CVM News at Noon. Families have been displaced, students are affected, and shelterees now feel abandoned as shelters set up on school compounds are being relocated. However, the new location assigned to the shelterees from the Petersfield School in Westmoreland was not fit for accommodation according to the residents. According to recent reports, many shelterees are left to prepare the facilities themselves under deplorable conditions. Now, the Ministry of Local Government has stated that spaces are ready, but media footage shows otherwise, raising serious questions about accountability and transparency. Joining us now to address these issues, we have Member of Parliament for the Petersfield area, Mr. Dwayne Vaz. Good afternoon, Mr. Vaz.
Good afternoon to your viewers, and good afternoon to everyone.
Explain for our viewers who's directly responsible for ensuring shelters are completed and up to par before people are relocated.
It would be definitely the Ministry of Local Government and the agencies that are associated with it. But what we have seen from the hurricane is that they were obviously not prepared for what happened, and they were not able to respond in the way that they were supposed to. So a lot more work needs to be done with regards to how we prepare our shelters and how we actually execute what needs to happen whenever we have disasters.
What exactly have you been hearing from the residents who were at the Petersfield School who have now been relocated? What has their complaints been?
Well, what directly happened yesterday was that the deadline to move was yesterday, but the place that they put them was not ready. So it obviously was a haphazard decision to put them there, because these are teachers' flats that are exactly beside the high school. So if they were really preparing to put them there, I'm sure some preparation would have been put in place. But when the residents went over there, the place was rat infested, it was in a deplorable condition, and they had to actually get bleach and get the power wash from the school to wash it out themselves. They actually had to move everything themselves with no assistance from the authorities. The authorities came over there from after 2 early in the day yesterday with the police and everybody demanding that the residents move. Residents had to complain that how can they move into a situation like that? So it really was condescending. It was really a shocking situation. I couldn't believe when I saw that. I went there this morning also, where it is in a much better condition now because they prepared it themselves. But when they went there yesterday, as I said, it was a rat-infested situation. It was in a deplorable condition. The light was not working, no running water was there. So everything that should have been in place before they went there was not there. And I want to comment further on the statement made, because the minister stated that the deadline was met. But what he did not say was that the promise that was made to the residents was that May 8th would be the time when they would have moved to the suitable location that is being prepared. And that has still not happened. I went to the site this morning where the 50 houses are to be placed. I said place because I've heard it's going to be container houses. 20 are going to be done in the first phase, they said. But when we went there, only 6 bases were already built. No sewage has been put in place, no water in place, no electricity. So therefore, the site is obviously not ready, and obviously will not be ready anytime soon. So the minister continues to give deadlines, continues to fail at meeting the deadlines. And I can't say anything more than this now. Seems like it's a case of either not caring or a case of incompetence. And I'm therefore asking the Prime Minister to step in now and ensure that what was promised to these people will actually be fulfilled. Because it has not been going the way it is supposed to go. It is 7 months now since the hurricane. And you can't tell me that a government who has the will would not have already found a way to give some form of accommodation to these people. It is disgraceful, I can tell you. And being there, it really hurts the heart to know what these people have been through and the way how they were treated yesterday. To leave out of the school where active school is happening, they should be walking out with their stuff out of school with mattress on them head to go across next door to put their stuff. And the space also is not adequate because a lot of this stuff is outside because the rooms are small. And remember, these are families that you're talking about.
Outside of Petersfield, are you aware of any similar situations at any other shelters in central Westmoreland or Westmoreland or anywhere in Western Jamaica?
Well, I'm not aware of this situation, but there are other shelters that had a smaller amount of people still there. I have not heard any complaints as yet with regards to what had happened when they left, but I'm also sure that no real accommodation has been put in place. So the effort has been put in place to get persons in the accommodation for them to feel comfortable as if they were at home.
So after having received these complaints from some of the shelteries, what now have you had to be doing to assist them?
Well, after I left there today, I know some of the needs they have is really disinfectant, soap powder. They also need like water. So I'm arranging to bring some of that up for them today, just to assist them with what they're doing. But the real work that needs to be done, it's out of the capacity of the Member of Parliament because we don't get the funding to do that. So really to build houses for these people that they really need, we don't get the resources to do that. And that's why we're depending on the government of the day to actually come forth and do this. They have promised to do it, but we have not seen that promise fulfilled. And this is taking too long. As I said earlier, it has been 7 months. And if the will was there, it would have been done already.
For clarity for our viewers and for myself, the permanent setup that the ministry is now putting in place, was a timeline given for when that would be completed?
What we are hearing now, well, I've not heard from them directly, but what the residents are telling me is that they have now heard it's another 6 to 8 weeks. That's what we are hearing now. I can't confirm that because I just got that from the residents. But the initial argument that was put forward when this May 8th deadline was given and they said they're going to be moved to suitable housing, every single resident who is there right now would have gotten the impression that that suitable housing would have been on that site that they are preparing. But as I said, that site has started to be prepared for a couple months now. But where they are in the preparation is a far cry from where they should be if they wanted to move the residents in a timely manner. So that was the impression that was given because, as I said, they had stated suitable housing, and they referenced that place in that time. But now what we're seeing, as I said, based on how the persons were removed yesterday, it was obvious it was a last-minute decision to put them next door. Because I am sure if this was planned from before, when the residents got there yesterday, I'm sure they could not have seen rat infestation. You would have not have seen the place in a deplorable condition. You would have seen a place prepared for people and welcoming for people. That was not the case. Persons had to go and fix it up themselves, which obviously meant that this was just a haphazard and last-minute decision because the government only wanted to ensure that the May 8th deadline was met for leaving the school, but not the deadline that was met. That should have been there for taking them to a suitable place after leaving the school.
And in terms of that permanent residence, is it safe to say then that you don't believe this 6 to 8 week deadline would be met?
It will not be met, as I said. Based on what I've seen, as I said earlier, no sewage has been put in place, no water lines has been put in place, no lights or electricity, I should say, has been put in place. Only 6 bases have been built out of the 20 that they said will be done in the first phase. So obviously, based on what we're seeing, 6 to 8 weeks may also be a deadline that will be missed again by this ministry and this minister.
And just before you go, Mr. Vaz, what long-term measures will you now advocate for to prevent this kind of situation from happening the next time we have a serious weather event, God forbid, like Melissa?
Well, our constituency suffers from land regularization problems. A lot of people have to build board houses because they are not on land that are owned by them. So therefore, we have to speed up land regularization so people can get their titles, people can get their own piece of land where they can build permanent structures. Because when they build permanent structures, it is less likely that you will have them affected in this type of way by the disaster of the category of a Hurricane Melissa. But what we see happening now, the rebuilding process is being done in the same way it was done before because people still have the land issue. So if we have another hurricane of this magnitude, we'll be in the same place that we have found ourselves in right now. And that is really unacceptable. So we really have to speed up that process as a government and as a country to ensure people can get that piece of paper in their hand to show that they own this property so they can go ahead